Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we are diving deep into a really critical topic: the hidden dangers inside those private AI systems that so many companies are rushing to build. It's a security puzzle with absolutely huge stakes. Let's get right into it.
All right, let's just start with the question that is probably on the mind of every single executive out there right now. As companies are going all in on AI, they're discovering it's not just a powerful tool. It's also a brand new doorway for threats to their most sensitive data.
And look, this isn't just some theory. It's already happening. In 2023, some of the biggest names in tech got a rude awakening. At Samsung, some of their own engineers accidentally leaked secret source code and meeting notes right into ChatGPT. Amazon's lawyers started seeing ChatGPT spit out responses that looked suspiciously like their own sensitive internal data. The risk got so bad that Apple basically had to ban public AI tools just to protect their future product ideas from leaking. So, what happened after all those public leaks? Well, it caused a massive shift in the industry. A recent cybersecurity report found that a whopping 72% of companies are now scrambling to build their own private AI systems, basically taking their data off the public internet entirely.
The solution, at least on the surface, seemed pretty obvious, right? Build your own digital fortress. And the technology at the heart of this strategy is something called RAG, which promised to give companies complete and total control over their data.
Okay, so what is this RAG thing anyway? Well, it stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation, and it's actually a pretty brilliant approach. Instead of going through the super expensive and slow process of retraining a massive AI model from scratch, RAG lets the AI just read your private documents in real time to answer questions. It's like giving your AI a secure librarian for all your company's knowledge. The best part? Your data never has to leave your control.
And how does this whole thing work under the hood? It's basically a 5-step dance. First, you take your documents and chop them up into smaller chunks. Then, you turn those text chunks into numbers, we call them vectors, and store them in a special database so you can search them incredibly fast. When you ask a question, the system grabs the most relevant chunks, and this is the key part: the AI generates an answer based only on the stuff you gave it. It's elegant, simple, and it seems totally secure.
And the ultimate promise here, the thing that made everyone feel so safe, is what's called an air-gapped architecture. Think about the calculator app on your computer. It doesn't need the internet, right? It just works. That's the idea here. It's a completely isolated system, zero connection to the outside world. No external calls, no data leaks. Perfect.
The difference here is just night and day. With the old-school cloud-based RAG, your private data is literally traveling across the internet to some third-party server. Big risk. But with a private, air-gapped system, everything happens right there, on your own internal servers. So the risk of an external leak, poof, it's gone. But as you're about to see, that is absolutely not the end of the story.
Right, because this fortress, this seemingly perfect, impenetrable fortress, it has a fatal flaw. And it turns out, once you've built the walls, the biggest enemy isn't on the outside anymore.
That's right. Even with that perfect air gap, the system is still incredibly vulnerable. The danger isn't some hacker trying to breach the walls. No, the danger is coming from inside the house.
Okay, so here it is, the absolute core of the problem. RAG's fundamental security flaw can be summed up in 2 words: blind trust. The whole system is built on the assumption that any piece of data it finds inside its own knowledge base, every PDF, every email, every database entry, is safe, correct, and friendly. And that assumption, well, that's where everything starts to fall apart. And this blind trust opens the door to our first major threat. It's called prompt injection. Now, this is a really sneaky attack, where the documents themselves become the weapon. An attacker can hide a malicious command inside a seemingly innocent PDF or Word doc. When the RAG system pulls up that file to answer a question, the AI reads that hidden command and just executes it, completely ignoring all of its safety rules. The second, and honestly just as terrifying threat, is called data poisoning. Now, with this one, an attacker isn't hiding a command, they're subtly changing the data itself. Imagine someone changing just one critical number in a quarterly financial report, or one key detail in a legal contract. The RAG system, in its blind trust, will retrieve this poisoned information and present it to you as absolute fact. Suddenly, your trusted AI becomes a source of incredibly dangerous misinformation. And don't think this is hard to pull off. The impact is staggering. A famous attack simulation called Bad RAG proved that poisoning a tiny, almost impossible to detect fraction of documents, we're talking just 0.04%, was enough to mislead the entire system over 98% of the time.
Think about that. A handful of corrupted files can make your entire AI system almost useless.
And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it does. Remember those vectors? The numbers that represent your text? For a while, everyone thought they were secure, like a scrambled version of the data. Well, a study from Cornell Tech blew that idea out of the water. They proved that attackers can actually reconstruct 92% of the original text from the vectors alone. What does that mean? It means your vector database is just as sensitive and just as vulnerable as a folder full of plain, unencrypted text files.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty bad, I know. But it's not hopeless. There is absolutely a path forward. The key is to stop thinking about a fortress with walls and start thinking about fortifying the system from the inside out. So let's look at the actual defense plan.
And thankfully, there's a clear, actionable game plan. To fight back against that nasty prompt injection, you can use content scanners, things like LlamaGuard, to check documents for hidden commands before they ever get to the AI. For data poisoning, you can use things like digital signatures and parameterized queries to verify that your data sources are authentic and haven't been tampered with. And to solve those internal access issues, you can link data directly to a user's ID, making sure employees only see the information they're actually supposed to see.
So when you put this all together, what's the big takeaway here? Look, RAG technology is a classic double-edged sword. On one hand, it gives your AI this incredibly powerful, searchable memory of your entire organization. But on the other hand, that very memory can be turned against you if it's not secured properly. It means we need a whole new way of thinking about security, one that's obsessed with internal threats, not just keeping people out.
But here's the thing. Despite all these risks, building your own secure private AI is still one of the smartest strategic investments a company can make. Why? Well, for one, it can be up to 10 times cheaper than paying for those cloud APIs. It also makes it way easier to comply with data privacy laws like GDPR and HIPAA. And most importantly, it gives you true sovereignty over your most valuable asset in the 21st century, your data.
And that really brings us to our final thought. The journey to a truly secure AI isn't a destination. It's an ongoing process. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Because as the threats evolve, our defenses have to evolve right along with them. The real power of AI isn't just about the data you have, but about how well you can protect it. So the question is, how are you securing your AI future?